Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Palmatier, a psychic medium who's channeling white light towards a better world. Welcome to the third episode of the Channeling White Light Show, which is airing on the full moon of October 31st, Halloween. When it comes to YouTube shows, some producers may opt for evergreen content with a timeless appeal that's relevant for years to come, while others may create content that is current to the day's events and seasonal trends. So when it comes to the Channeling White Light Show, which is it? Yes, please, do tell us. My aim is to do both, including current events in the spiritual and psychic world, seasonal trends, and commentary, along with timeless content related to inspiration, motivation, divine development, and fun. I hope you'll enjoy the ride. For today's spiritual news, I have one piece of exciting news to share with you all. I've been accepted into the directory of Shay Parker's Best American Psychics. They advertised that the psychics in their directory are a new league of professional psychics because their screening process is so intense. It involved a couple of interviews, 2 blind readings, a psychic reading and a mediumship reading, a background check, and a mandatory course and quiz. I first applied in August, and I was just finally accepted earlier this month. So now I'm officially one of the best American psychics. It's an honor. I also have 2 events to share with you, one that I'm cross-promoting for others and one that I'm posting for myself. First, I'll start with cross-posting the annual conference for Changing Times, Changing World, an inclusive metaphysical community. This year, their conference will be online on November 9th through 15th. You can get more information at ctcw.net. Next, I'm excited to announce that I'll be offering a virtual group channeling session on Wednesday, November 11th. This event is a fundraiser for my local food banks, helping to combat hunger, and they will receive 100% of all ticket sales. For only $24.99, you can join me live online when I'll be doing mediumship readings for members of the audience, bringing them inner peace as I offer healing messages from loved ones who've crossed over. You can learn more about this event and purchase tickets on the events page of my website at channelingwhitelight.com. Now, regarding commentary, I'd like to talk a little bit about the special magic of gratitude. We all know what a challenging time it is in the world today. With the global pandemic, the election chaos, animosity, extreme racial divide, and civil unrest, not to mention all the challenges people are going through in their personal lives. These factors make it a perfect time to be our own cheerleaders. When we focus on the positive things in life, we draw more happiness and good fortune to us. I'll cover this concept more deeply in the Divine Development segment of today's episode, but for now, I want to talk specifically about the changes we can experience when we implement more gratitude into our lives. Most people understand that if you focus on things you're grateful for, the other challenges seem less daunting. But did you know that gratitude has been scientifically proven to benefit the brain? There was a study done at Berkeley that showed that study participants who undertook an activity to write letters of gratitude experienced significantly better mental health than the control group. And these benefits lasted at least 12 weeks after their writing exercise ended. Scientists were actually able to quantify these results by using an fMRI scanner, where the gratitude letter writers showed greater activation and greater neural sensitivity in the medial prefrontal cortex, a brain area associated with learning and decision making. And several other studies show the link between gratitude and happiness, as well as increased health. For example, a 2014 study published in Emotion shows that expressing gratitude can help you win new friends. A 2012 study, Pursued in Personality and Individual Differences, shows that gratitude improves physical health. Multiple studies by Robert Emmons, a leading gratitude researcher, demonstrates the link between gratitude and psychological well-being. And still others show that gratitude enhances empathy, reduces aggression, helps people get better sleep, improves self-esteem, and increases mental strength. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough. Melody Beattie. There are lots of ways we can focus on gratitude, but one of the simplest and most effective ways is to write down 3 things you're grateful for every day for 30 days. And although it may feel contrived at first, the mental state of gratitude and its many benefits will grow stronger with use and practice. Plus, we have Thanksgiving coming up, so that's the perfect time to remember that attitude of gratitude. You can be grateful for a plateful. And maybe you're not into the whole Halloween thing, and you can just be grateful there's no pressure to dress up for Thanksgiving. Yeah! Wait, what? Or, for this season, when all else fails, just be grateful you're not a turkey. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. And special thanks to Kelly for inviting me here today to talk to you guys. It's always great to be in the energy of gratitude, and I'm ever so grateful. So thank you, Kelly, very much. About 3 months ago, a gentleman came to see me, and that's after his family prodded him. And they were telling him, hey, you look different. You know, something's just not right. You look different. And he had great resistance initially to coming to see me. And because he didn't want to make any changes in his life, he thought everything was going just fine. He was using cocaine and he was smoking some pot, and his vibration went from high way down to low. And that allowed him to bring in extra energies, hitchhikers, if you will, to kind of live his life with him. And it really wasn't working for him. He was about to lose his job and his appearance changed greatly. And because of this, the family was noticing, like, no, something's not quite right. So initially they called me and they said, there's something wrong, fix him. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. If he wants to help, he has to reach out himself. So they said, oh no, but he's cursed. I'm like, no, stop that right then and there. There is no such thing as a curse, okay? We create our reality. And this gentleman had decided to engage with lower level vibrational energy by using the drugs, the cocaine. Pot's not necessarily that bad if you use it for medicinal purposes, but if you have it with you and in you, 24/7, it can lower your vibrational field. So what we did was he finally called and we scheduled the appointment, and we removed some of that lower vibrational energy with different techniques that were used. And he goes like, wow, I feel a whole lot better. But before we started the process, I had him look in the mirror and I said, what do you see? And he described what he saw, and it wasn't pretty at all. He didn't like anything that he saw. And then when we got done, I said, look in the mirror again. And he went, wow, I can't believe this. This is me 15 years ago. And I'm like, yay, it worked. So he went home to his family, and family could not believe it. Not only in his look, his attitude, everything about him had changed. So I told him, I said, if you want to go back to that lower vibration, that's fine, but it's not really a good look on you. And I said, I want you to pay attention to the energy of that form follows thought. So if you're thinking something, the law of attraction. So if you're thinking something, you're going to bring it in. Whatever you think, whatever you focus on is going to come into your being. And he said, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. And he was a software engineer and, all techie. He hadn't thought about that. So he took that under consideration. And then when he took that into consideration, he goes, okay, I'm going to be more aware of my thoughts. So it's really important for you guys to just pay attention to your thoughts, be aware. And as you are aware, you will be able to manage your own energy and have a very uplifting life. Now, if you want to find out more about what I do, check out my podcast, and it's called Get Over It, okay? Because I want people to get over whatever is holding them back. So check out Get Over It. It's wherever podcasts are broadcast. Thank you.
Today I'm here with ZaKiya Bell-Rogers of Helpmate. ZaKiya, welcome.
Hi, and thank you so much for having me and our agency.
Oh, I'm very happy to have you here. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at Helpmate.
Well, I have been working at Helpmate for around 3.5 years. I am their community engagement specialist. I work within the community to help educate people about healthy relationships. I go into substance abuse agencies and different programs and really work on building the skills of having appropriate relationships. We just haven't learned that. Helpmate has been around for 40 years, and they started in the 80s here in Asheville, and it was just folks taking phone calls and getting folks help. Now we have moved into a multi-facility agency. We have counseling, we have court advocates, child care advocate, and child advocates. And groups, case management, and community education. And so we do a lot within the community.
So tell me about the main needs in the community that you guys address.
Well, right now, domestic abuse has such a large arena. It's not just one or two different things. It's not just physical. It's financial, it's emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's medical. It's all of those things. So the needs that we have vary from client to client. Some clients just need to have someone to keep them safe. Some clients have someone who just needs them to help plan. Someone may need an entire new apartment furnished because they had to leave from a totally different state. So our needs vary, but all the time we tell everybody, if you don't know what to give financially, we always accept financial gifts, because money goes a long way when getting things that people need, like buying birth certificates, or getting IDs and things like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think about something like that. Birth certificates and IDs, that's an unusual thing, but it's important.
Yes, it's super important.
Yeah. And so you handle or you help out with things like that. What are the main things? What are the main services that you guys offer, the main ways that you help?
Well, I am a community educator, so I provide services by providing education in the community. But we have case managers who help folks who are going through the situations to plan out their daily lives, figure out what they want to do. We are survivor-led, meaning that we support the survivor. We allow them to pick their choices, pick how they want their plan to go, and we just support them. And so that's one way we work, by empowering our clients to be their own leaders, be their own voice, and we advocate for them to be their voice and have their voices heard. We also have free therapy, which is very unheard of. And we start out with 8 sessions, with 8 sessions, and then continue to reevaluate every time those 8 sessions go. And sometimes you can have more. If not, we are able to referral out. We have free groups where you can come in and you can have domestic violence education or domestic abuse education. We have classes, we have people who can teach parenting classes. We have folks who, when they're involved in the Department of Social Services, the children's department, we have case managers who are able to walk with them in that situation.
That's important.
We have court advocates. We actually have a section in the courthouse where if you're going through a court procedure, you can go and sit in that room and wait until your case is called. So we have a lot of things that we're doing that are great, and it really helps our clients. And we're not just serving women, we're serving men and women, everybody on the gender spectrum. We do not discriminate.
I love the way you say the gender spectrum.
Yes. And as a person who has a lot of gender spectrum folks in our family, I know how important it is.
Excellent.
And we include everyone. We do not discriminate.
Nice. That's so important. Now, domestic abuse is such a big issue in the world, and so important. What can people do to help?
people, what you can do to help if you know someone is going through domestic abuse is the first to listen. And to tell that person that is not what they deserve. It's never their fault. And never ask someone, well, what did you do to make that person mad?
Exactly.
No, the question is, well, why is that person violating this person's rights? Just to live and be a person. Never tell someone to leave, because studies have shown that your chances increase 75% if you leave being murdered or seriously injured. So leaving is a process, and you can always make sure that you give them the information to your local domestic violence agency or domestic abuse agency.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Most women and children are hurt after they're trying to leave.
Wow. Well, then it's even more vitally important that we have organizations like yours to help people through the process. Now, what can the general public do to help your organization?
Again, financial donations are always welcome. We do coat drives in the winter. We do clothing drives sometimes, school supplies. We do things for Christmas for our families that are in the shelters. And they can volunteer on the hotline, which is how we receive phone calls for emergencies. Our hotline is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Someone is there to answer the call.
And do you do training for people?
Yes, we do volunteer training.
Nice.
And we love our volunteers. We would not be able to work or to do the things that we do if we didn't have our volunteers. They're amazing. But our hotline is the way to connect to all those services that I spoke of earlier.
So tell us about the hotline and tell us how to reach you.
Well, the hotline is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service that we provide. And that number is 828-254-0516. And you call us, and our hotline service provider first answers the phone, because now we're in the middle of a pandemic. And so we're not in the office, so therefore we can't answer the phones directly. And so we get in contact with them, and then they give us the numbers or the information. We contact that person back. We crisis manage over the phone or whatever we need to do. We do assessments. We talk to law enforcement. We do whatever we need to do on that phone line. Sometimes people just want to know, what services do we have? Can you link me with this service?
And when someone calls the helpline and they get the answering service and then someone calls them back, what's the length of time a typical turnaround time for someone to call them back?
I am not sure, but I would think it was no less than 10 minutes. Or no more than 10 minutes.
Because I would think someone in a crisis situation that might be very relevant.
And I know as soon as they call me, I turn around and I call right back. And most of my co-workers, I'm sorry, do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And then as far as reaching your organization, if we want to help, what's the best way to reach you?
Same number. Our hotline is the best way to get in contact with everybody. And that number again is 828-254-0516.
Super. And you want to give out the website address as well?
Yes, that is. And it is www.helpmateonline.org.
www.helpmateonline.org. Perfect. Good. Well, ZaKiya, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate everything that you guys do with the organization, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your time this morning. So
thank you.
Just as a small token of my appreciation, I am donating a free gift certificate for a psychic reading or a mediumship reading. And you have brought some names. I know I always ask people for their top volunteers or their top team members. So see who's the lucky one to be drawn out of my funky vintage hat. Yes, go ahead and pull.
Oh, they're stuck together. Christy Price.
Yay! Okay, super. Well, we can email about getting that gift certificate to Christy.
Yes.
That's great. Anything else you'd like to say?
Just thanking the community for the resources that they do give and they do provide to us. And, during this really tough time for all of us, our community is still just showing up and really giving back. And it's amazing the love and support that we still receive from our community.
Well, we're thankful to have you in the community.
Well, thank you.
In today's motivational moment, I'd like to talk about giving. You know what season is coming up, right? The season of giving. No, that's not the type of giving I'm talking about. I want to talk about giving from the heart. There's so many great quotes about being a giver, like this one from John Holmes. There is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. Or this quote from Charles Dickens, no one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another. And of course, this great quote by Winston Churchill, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And on a similar note, be the change you wish to see in the world, attributed to Mahatma Gandhi. Most people understand the value of giving, but it's easy to forget that it can be important to be a giver first. For example, if you want your partner to be more affectionate with you, try being more affectionate with them first. If you want a crowd to form on an empty dance floor, go out and start dancing. Someone has to be first. If you want more engagement with friends, reach out to them first. If you want to ease the tension from an argument, give a sincere apology first. I remember a time when I was a child getting bullied in school. I told the teacher about the boy who was teasing me, and he got scolded. After school, he shoved me as he was running by. That evening, my wise papa told me that I should apologize to him first. For what? He was the bully, I exclaimed. Tell him you're sorry you got him in trouble. Trust me. I really didn't want to do that, but I trust my papa, so I tried it, and it worked. The bully replied, whatever, I'll just go pick on Mei Ling instead. It wasn't the most gracious of replies, and I still feel bad for Mei Ling, but he never picked on me again. And even if giving to others doesn't result in reciprocation from them, there's benefit to you simply by being a giver. Neuroscience has shown that when we help others, our brains release oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, so giving is a powerful way to create more personal joy. This tip is especially helpful this season when we know so many people in the world are experiencing much more personal hardship than in years past. So without exploiting the season with commercialism, let's remember to give our help, give our energy and time, and give our love. You are unique in that you have a lot of interesting, great ideas. You're creative and you think outside the box. I picked up on an image that it makes me think of like a carnival, circus or a carnival or a festival of some sort. I'm definitely feeling some festivities, some fun, but there's something creative about it. It's not just like your average party. Do you know what this is about?
Yes, we have huge Halloween parties. I used to work at the Biltmore Estate in the floral department. I was the supervisor at the house. And when I do things, I do them big. And they're always a show and a lot of fun. We have huge Halloween parties. And I never could celebrate Halloween when I worked at Biltmore because that was when we were installing Christmas. So when I left there, that was the goal of mine, is to always have big Halloween parties.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Wow. How about that?
Yeah, that's neat.
Nice. I'm hearing the song my Sharona. So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they're telling me that because they like my singing ability, but so
I can always ask my cousin.
I mean, maybe the song is relevant, or is there someone with a name like Sharon, like Sharona? Now, I'm also picking up on something.
Oh, you said Sharon.
Yeah.
Get out. Now I know who you're talking about.
My Sharona?
Yes, she loved to sing. And we didn't see it coming. I saw her right before she left with her boyfriend, and they got in a bad car accident, and she was killed. It was really bad. And her name was Sharon. Oh my God, I wouldn't have thought that she...
So not only is her name Sharon, she got me to say it to you by singing.
Yeah, and Sharona, I could see that, because she loved music. Every song that came on the jukebox, she was like, oh, I love that song.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay. I saw like a bikini, and this I actually also, it made me think of like maybe being really physically fit, maybe even bodybuilding. And then I thought I saw flowers, so it made me think of like a lei. So I don't know if this is like talking about Hawaii, but for whatever reason, I felt like I was seeing a bikini and possibly a lei.
That makes sense. I was a personal trainer for like 10 years, and I've always been into like fitness, and I'm just a tropical girl. So that could be, my heart is like, I mean, my goal is to live maybe, somewhere tropical. So
oh, perfect.
That aligns really well.
All right, this is really random.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to talk about refrigeration.
Yes, I can see that.
How does refrigeration make sense?
Well, if I tell you, probably like that's a silly story, but I'll tell you real quick.
Hey, I love silly stories. and you know what? The silly stories are a lot of times the ones that are the best validation.
Okay, well, my brother-in-law, the one Terrence, after he passed, my mother said she was sleeping, but she heard him tell her that he was hungry. It was like 4 a.m, and she was thinking, I'm asleep, but why Terrence talking to me? She forgot he had just passed at the time. And she said, well, go on to the kitchen and get something out the refrigerator. And so when she got up that morning, the refrigerator door was wide open.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah.
Wow!
So, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, I have to say, it's the first time refrigeration has ever come up in a reading before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that would be it.
And I also have to say that, no, spirits are not actually hungry. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So just for the record, spirits are not actually hungry, but they will sometimes come through to us in a way that we can understand it the best. So if he's sleeping, enough to not be like tuned into, oh yeah, he has passed.
Mm-hmm.
To have a mundane question come through to her makes sense.
Yes.
But then for him to actually leave the refrigerator door open, I mean, I'm sorry, some food might have gotten spoiled. But what a great validation.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's what I was thinking, because we both was like, okay, we know he ain't hungry, so like guess he was just letting you know, because that was normal for him to say, I'm hungry, I want something to eat,
Oh, that's perfect. Good. Way to go, Terrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely feel this element of freedom with you. it's interesting. This feeling of freedom was pretty strong. Like you can, if you wanted to pick up, and go somewhere. In fact, this feeling of travel definitely resonated when I was tuning into your energy. So I don't know if you really love to travel or if you've been really thinking about wanting to travel, but I definitely picked up on a strong reference to travel. And in particular, I did feel a pull towards Italy. So what's that about? Have you been to Italy?
I was a flight attendant for 33 years, and
what? I'm sorry. What?
I was a flight attendant for 33 years, and I've done a lot of trips to different countries because I do love to travel. I've been to Italy, big part of Italy, Venice and Florence and Rome and the Amalfi Coast. I've lived in France. I've been to Spain. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Japan, Australia. You really picked up really well.
Oh my goodness! I love that freedom and that travel and that wow.
Freedom, yes. I do. You were very good.
Very good. Very good. Okay. You may notice a bit of a theme happening in today's episode, and I'm going to continue that now. For the Divine Development segment, I'm going to talk about the law of attraction. Why is it that so many psychics and mediums are into the law of attraction? Because it's all about the energy. If you want to manifest something in your life, it's so advantageous if you can visualize it first, really feel the energy, feel the vibration of whatever it is you'd like to manifest. For example, oh, hi, Bob. How's it going? Oh,
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, I was hoping a world-famous expert in the law of attraction might pop in today to help us explain the concept to you. Bob, how's it going? I hope I didn't manifest you at an inconvenient time.
no time with you. No time is inconvenient. I was just about to shove a pumpkin spice cinnamon roll in my mouth, but I can do that anytime.
Oh, you're so kind. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Doyle is one of the stars of The Secret, and he is a long time expert in the law of attraction. Bob, for people who don't have any experience with the concept at all, how would you explain the law of attraction to them?
Well, the law of attraction as it is presented in the movie, certainly it's the principle that we can and do attract into our lives things that we are in vibrational resonance with. It's sort of presented as a way to visualize ourselves into the reality that we want, so that we attract those things that we think about the most or get into emotional alignment with. There's a million different ways to say it, but the general principle is we can create our experience of reality using these law of attraction principles.
Very cool, very cool. What are some of the basic principles, the ways that people use the law of attraction?
Well, let me actually, because I've been teaching this now for like 20 years, and I think that one of the challenges that people have with it are they're looking at the law of attraction as a personal development tool or a technique, and it's really our state to create our experience of reality. We're doing it all the time. I mean, we're creating visualization. Basically, it's going from being on autopilot about creating our experience of reality to being more intentional about it. So getting started with the law of attraction in an intentional way means getting clear on what you want in your life, to create a vision that you can put your mind and attention and energetic and emotional attention on an ongoing basis, because so many of us are attracting on absolute autopilot because our thoughts and our feelings are just going based on our wiring. And so manifesting or creating your experience of reality is about maintaining better control over where your thoughts and emotions go. And then the law of attraction just works on autopilot. So I actually, despite the fact that I've been teaching law of attraction for 20 years, I actually want people to stop thinking about it as something like a technique or a tool, a process that they have to get correct or fear getting incorrect, and just realize that our natural state is to have thoughts and visions of the things that we would like to have in our life, and getting into the emotional, moving into emotional alignment with what is associated with that vision being fulfilled will take care of itself. It's when we get bogged down on, am I doing it right? Should I be doing a vision board? What should I be doing? That it actually slows down the process.
Very interesting. Yes. And so what are like the main mistakes, or what would be like the main mistake that you think that people do when they're trying to use this technique, the principle?
Yeah. There's actually a lot, but I think that the biggest mistake based on my experience is that people start trying to visualize what they want, the external stuff, before they actually think about who they want to be. Because who we're being right now and everything that we have is a result of who we've been being, the actions we've been taking, the thoughts we've been having, the meaning we make out of life. This is all of our results that we see in our life are a result of doing that. So if we want to see something different in our lives, we have to be something different. So we look at, well, what's the gap between who I'm being now and the person I want to be that will have all of these things or all of these feelings that that are in alignment with this vision that I have. So a lot of times when people hear about the law of attraction, they see The Secret, they want to use the law of attraction to solve all of their problems. So they go, oh, I want $1 million. I want the perfect relationship. I want the house, without even thinking about who they want to be in this vision. Mm-hmm. How is that person going to respond and act and make meaning differently than the person I have been being up to this point? If you don't change basically who you're being, you can attract stuff. I've done it without changing who I've been being. And that stuff, that win is fleeting, or it doesn't give you the feeling that you want. And it's because you didn't really first decide, who do I want to be on this planet? What difference do I want to make? What value do I want to impart? How do I want to express myself? And by the way, that can change as often as you want. Mm-hmm. So many people are stuck on, who am I supposed to be? Well, guess what? You get to choose. So choose it. And let it be inspiring to you and exciting to you, and then decide what you want based on who that person is and what would that person want.
Mm-hmm. That is so important, so meaningful. That little nugget of wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, I hope if you just caught that and nothing else in the entire show, that's fantastic. You can see why Bob Doyle is, such an amazing expert in the field. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it, and go ahead and I hope you can continue manifesting that wonderful pumpkin spice breakfast of yours.
It's right here. Do you want to see me cram in my mouth, or would you like to cut away?
Oh, bye.
Bye.
Today, for the Stuff I Love segment, I have one little thing I want to talk about, and here it is. This is a vegan feather wand for dispersing and directing smoke when you burn sage or other aromatic herbs for energy cleansing. Feather wands may also be referred to as smudge wands, since the act of energy clearing while burning herbs is referred to as smudging. It's quite common for people to use a feather or a grouping of feathers made into a wand when doing energy clearing, and a quick Google search will turn up lots of options for feather wands, from rather simple to very high-end. However, I'm an ethical vegan, meaning I don't consume any animal products at all for ethical reasons. I simply decline to contribute my consumer dollars to industries that use animals as commodities. And even though some feather wands may use found feathers that didn't actually harm a bird, there is an industry that profits from feathers that's not so innocuous. And philosophically, we know that consuming a product made from found objects demonstrates the market viability for unscrupulous providers to jump into the market. Well, at the time of this filming, I'm unable to find a vegan feather smudge wand anywhere. So I created one. Every ingredient in this smudge wand is vegan, from the fabric feathers to the glue. It has these 2 dark brown fabric feathers on the back, a multicolored greenish fabric feather in the middle, and 2 smaller gold fabric feathers in front. The base of the handle is made from sustainably sourced Palo Santo wood, which is considered a holy wood and is often used in smudging. The handle's covered in vegan suede and wrapped in a vegan cord. The beads and accent stones are genuine aventurine, which represents the heart chakra and is known for having properties of building good fortune and bringing success to all endeavors. Since people who work with energy and do energy clearing are typically more sensitive, there are a lot of ethical vegans in the mix. So I'm hoping these vegan feather smudge wands will be of service. I'm about to begin selling them on my website, channelingwhitelight.com, and my dear friend Sally Kent, a talented bookbinder and custom box maker of Kent House Studio, will be helping produce them. You'll get to meet Sally coming up in today's Thank the Sponsor segment. I love Sally, I love this vegan feather smudge wand, and I hope you love it too. Welcome to the Q&A segment of today's show. Do you have a question you'd like me to answer? Please ask in the comment section below. Today's question is, are curses real? Are curses real? Jeepers creepers, holy mackerel, jumping Jehoshaphat. Yes, curses are real. What in the HE double hockey sticks are you thinking with your gall darn silly question like that? Okay, excuse my French. Sometimes I just curse like a sailor. Okay, toning it down a bit now. As a professional psychic medium, I sometimes get calls from people wanting to know if I can remove a curse, remove a block, or create a love spell, etc. Let me preference my explanation with the caveat that I mean no disrespect to actual witches, that is, people who practice the religion of Wicca, or to practitioners of voodoo, hoodoo, or similar religions. But I do want to be clear that the commercialization of superstition-based rituals is something to be wary of. We all have challenges that befall us. And by the way, that's regardless of how good we are, what religion we practice, and how effectively we utilize the law of attraction. Regardless of how difficult or tragic the circumstance, it's advantageous to consider how we can handle things with grace. Can we learn and grow from our difficulties? Can we honor those lost? Can we focus on gratitude for what we still have? We want to be careful about desperately seeking a remedy outside of ourselves. That makes us vulnerable. Personally, I want to protect people who are vulnerable, so I'm compelled to explain that historically, the biggest fraud in the psychic industry has been when unscrupulous providers have profited by telling customers that their bad luck is a result of a curse that someone has put on them, a hex, a blocked chakra, or something similar, and then selling an exorbitantly priced solution of some sort, whether it's a curse removal service, a special crystal or candle, etc. In some cases, the price may be low to begin with, but they convince their prey to keep coming back for more and more steps in the process, often with higher and higher price tags. They may even say your loved ones are in danger if you don't take these special precautions and pay for them dearly. I won't go so far as to say curses don't exist, but legitimate cases are rare. And opportunists who want to profit off of them are not so rare. I don't do curse removals or spells, and I want the public to be aware that this is the type of service that's generally frowned upon by legitimate psychics and mediums. So, are curses real? Depends on who you ask. It's such an honor to have so many people who love and support me and my show. Today, I especially want to give thanks to Sally Kent, my dear friend and a talented bookbinder and maker of amazing custom boxes and similar items. I mentioned Sally in the Stuff I Love segment earlier in the show because she's helping me make these wonderful vegan feather smudge wands. I've also worked with her many times in the past on other projects. For example, a few years ago, she made these beautiful custom binders for giving to clients of a side business I own. Sally, thanks so much for your support and welcome to the Channeling White Light Show.
Thank you, Kelly. It's an honor to be here.
Sally, tell us a little bit about your business.
Hi. I'm Sally Kent. I am the proprietor of a hand bindery called Kent House. And we are a small hands-on bindery where everything is made to order. It is custom made and specialized to the client's specifications. We make items for every occasion, for holiday, keepsake boxes, weddings, bridal showers, packaging design, photo albums, stationery and desk items, binders, storage, vanity sets, baby gifts, and menu covers, and so on and so on and so on. Anything you can think of, we can make it. And I love a challenge. One of the best challenges I've ever had was a friend of mine was getting married and giving the photographer of the wedding an antique camera housed in an old leather-bound box. And the box was just a shambles. It was like over 100 years old, and the leather had all decayed, the wood was all rotting, the hinges were all black. So in other words, I redid the whole thing, and it came out spectacularly, and everybody, it was a win-win for everybody. For me especially, because it was an enormous challenge. And that's what I do. And I'm here to give help to anyone who's looking for something a little different. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sally. And thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
You made it through the whole episode. Yay! If you like the show, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the little bell icon for notifications, yada, yada, yada. The next episode will be out on the full moon of November 30th. See you then.